All right, and next we have a joint weather project, human factors and scenario-based training, advanced weather and training of pilots and air traffic controllers. Here we go. Would you like to go?
Sure.
All right, thank you much. You're gonna...
Hi there, I'm Mike Wiggins. This is Chen Ling, and back there at the table is Doug Wiegman, and Katya is going to be our technical advisor for this. I can see we lost the contest for the longest title because it was beaten a little while ago. This couple of days has been really good because we've managed to take a project that was given to us that was specifically vague and turn it into something that is now vaguely specific. So that's what we've been able to accomplish in the last 24 hours. So this was developed a little bit before we had the conversations today, but this is going to kind of give us an idea of where we're going. The partners, this is truly a joint project because while you guys are dealing with one cost center, we have three. So it is truly a joint project. From the University of Akron is Dr. Chen Ling, and with her is Xiangyang Wang and Forrest Bao. We're going to be working on it. Working with me from Embry-Riddle is also going to be one of our junior faculty, Bob Thomas, who's a simulation expert guy, and then Doug Wiegman and is coming in from the University of Wisconsin. The three goals that we started out with was to determine if scenario-based training can help weather dissemination from air traffic controllers to pilots. Apparently, the crux of the issue we're going to be looking at is what weather information do air traffic controllers get, how do they disseminate that to pilots, and then how are pilots interpreting it and using that, okay? And we want to make sure that everybody gets the best information. So that's where we're focusing on right now. That in itself could open up a whole big can of worms because, first of all, you have to ask the question, what weather training do controllers get? How are they going to use it? To what limits are they going to use it? Is what they're saying going to be interpreted by pilots in the same way? And so forth. So we're still kind of fleshing out some of the ideas on that. So the three basic goals are going to be to determine to what extent the weather training exists and understand what the problem is. Is it an institutional problem, a regional problem? Is it a specific problem? Is it more on an ATC side, pilot side? Where does the weather dissemination problem exist? Okay. Second of all, we want to determine if scenario-based training can solve the problem, okay? And we want to see if advanced weather modeling can come into play and to try to help people make better decisions to stay around it. And we want to just take a look at how pilots and air traffic controllers actually make decisions during these dynamic situations. So that's kind of what we're looking at. The five tasks that we're going to do, one, the first three are kind of like literature reviews and background information. We're going to try to have that done by April, May timeframe, somewhere in there. And it is to determine what gaps exist in training, what needs to be known and what's actually known and where the gap is. The second is, can scenario-based training be used? Okay, it's used in other parts of the industry. Can it fit into air traffic controller training? Can it fit into recurrent? And how best to put it into the pilot training side of life. The third is we're going to prepare weather scenarios for use in both ATC simulations and pilot simulations to see how it works. Because it's one thing if the air traffic controllers get a weather scenario, then they do it. How does that same scenario get interpreted by various pilots on the other end? Okay, so we've got to have some continuity going through there, so it's going to take a little time to design that. Once we get those done, then we're going to study both pilots and air traffic controllers in the various situations and see what we can come up with. Right now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ling so she can talk a little bit about what they're bringing to the table.
Okay, so I have been working with National Severe Storm Lab on their next generation weather products. Before that, I have conducted some research projects supported by FAA. This was one of the studies that we were looking at. Pilots are dealing with delayed weather